Hi all, welcome to the GUI TED Talk session. Today's the topic is the Kali Linux, not cat. So the topic has two parts. One is the Kali Linux and the penetration testing. So I'm going to not going to much into explain about the penetration testing. I'm focusing on the most about the Kali Linux, the operating system. For the completeness of the presentation, I will explain about the penetration testing in the abstract way. This is the subtopics. So what is the penetration testing? What is Kali Linux? Unix to Kali roadmap, Kali Linux features and the by Kali Linux and demo. So what is penetration testing? Simply when we take the penetration testing is the white hacking. Because why we do the penetration testing is the test our system for any possible security breaches. Our intention is to find out any weak spots of the system, the web application or something, and fix them. So, in the perspective of the white hacker and the pen tester, those are both the same. That's why I am saying the pen tester is the white hacker. This is the textbook's definition of the penetration testing. Simulated cyber attacks against the computer system to identify any weak spots in the system defenses. These weak spots, known as vulnerabilities, is the risk that attacker can disrupt or gain authorized access to the system or any data contained within it. It's also called pen test. When you talk about the penetration testing, it has some stages. First of all, we start with the planning and reconnaissance, which means information gathering, intelligence gathering, and then scanning, gaining access and maintaining access, and analysis and just ignore that WA part. I just copied it from the internet. Analysis and the configuration. So when we talk about the planning, whatever the cyber attacks or pen testing is planning is the important thing is that we know that the system. First of all, I have to forget there's a three approaches of the pen testing. Like we have to think about the outsider with the zero knowledge about the system, and the insider with the less privileges, and the insider with the full privileges. Those two points we have to consider, and then we think about the planning and reconnaissance. So when we take a Kali Linux has the nicely categorized tools into parts into these matrix these stages. Examples of the penetration. So when we do the penetration testing, we can do it various ways. There's called the stripes attack, which means the abbreviation for spoofing, tampering, and the DDoS and other attacks. These are some examples. Parameter tampering, we know that if a system takes inputs, we have to validate it. Unless if we don't validate it, someone can input various type of inputs and try to break the system. Known vulnerabilities. Let's think about a system that use web application that use IIS 5, 6 or some web server. IIS 6 has known vulnerabilities. So far, so if someone know about the systems using IIS 6, that he can use those vulnerabilities to break into system. So we have to test against known vulnerabilities and fix them during the penetration testing. Brute force attacks are not effective, but it's effective against the weak passwords. Like if you use password 123, there's a call attacks called dictionary attacks. So there is a word list, and you can perform the attack against that word list. So you can download from the internet those kind of word list. Just type 10 million word list. You can download the possible combination of passwords. So if you use admin 123 or password 123, it will get cracked. Session hijacking is a pattern to be someone else by stealing the session data. Information gathering, as I discussed before, we have to think about the ways that they can information gather. So they have techniques called port analysis, port scanners. So they can, if you provide the IP address of the server, they can just scan and find out which ports are open. Like 80 is open, you know that there's a web service running. 20 is open, you know that there is a SSH service running. So likewise, information, so we can hide from them. So according to that, we have to take the measures. That's all about the penetration testing. So I'm talking about Linux. So what is Linux? So I will ask you a question. What is Linux? What?
Open source operating.
Linux is not operating system, it's the kernel. It's the kernel of the operating system. The operating system built upon the kernel. So I will explain the roadmap to the Unix, and there is a mess about those things. This all started in 1968. This person called Didier. He is that person who is responsible for the Didier algorithm, the graph theories. He developed the time sharing operating system called Multics, and the two persons in the Bell and AT&T lab, researchers Ken Thompson and the Brian Carrington, they used that Multics system to build their own operating system. Later they renamed it to Unix. So also Bell, so Unix is initially written in the assembly language, and the language called B. So when they developing further, they have issues with adding the new features, with the assembly getting harder. So this person called Dennis Rich, he wrote the operating system just for the purpose of adding new features to the Unix operating system. After inventing that, he wrote the operating system from the scratch again, and so that made the adding features easy. So at 1976, the Unix-like system based on the microkernel design known Unix was developed. So there is a when we take operating system, there is a Unix-based operating system and Unix-like operating system. Unix-based means they use the Unix source code to build that OS, and Unix-like is they don't build upon the Unix source code. They influenced by the Unix operating system. They have their own source code and they build it. So there are similarities, like file systems, most of them same. So Linus Torvalds, he is the key person who developed the Linux, which is similar to Unix. He influenced from the GNU Linux OS and the operating system called Minix. So Linux is not based on Unix; it's a Unix-like operating system. It's not dependent on Unix source code. When we take a Mac OS is the Mac OS. When we build the Mac OS, they use the Unix operating system, their source code. Still, they say in the OS kernel there is so some code lines that Dennis Rich written in the 1970s. Still, they don't change. 90s to today's, there's about nowadays about 300 plus operating system available in the Unix stream. Backtrack. There's a offensive security. The Linux distribution backtrack was raised by offensive security. Offensive security is it's an organization which provides a certification on information security. That certification is highly recognized in the InfoSec communities and one of the hardest certifications to get. It's about $800 for base certification, and person who try to get the certification have to have 12 hours continuous hacking into their their sandbox environment servers. So they build the backtrack. Backtrack is the previous operation system before the Kali Linux, and when the backtrack evaluating, backtrack architecture built upon the Ubuntu, when that architecture doesn't meet the requirement of the modern requirements. Architecture doesn't match with the modern requirement, so they decided to build the new OS from the scratch. It was built upon the operating system called Debian. So that's the Kali Linux's image. The Kali is designed to replace the backtrack Linux OS. Okay, I'm going to the features of the Kali Linux. Kali Linux comprises more than 300 penetration testing tools that can be used to advance preference to corporate security needs. It contains almost every security testing tools nowadays available. It has fully customized Linux kernel, which means the distros kernel has the new kernel patches, kernel modules which needed for the penetration testing. For example, for the Wi-Fi security testing, so when we have to use this called packet injection, which means we intercept the communication between access point and the client, and we inject in our fake packet, replicated packet into the history. To do that, we have to patch the kernel to support that functionality. So these are inbuilt, so we don't have to worry about those things. Also has the ARM support, which means it can run on the operating system, mobile phones, tablets, or Raspberry Pi, Banana Pis, those computers. Also, the nice features, it has a forensic mode. So let's assume that you have to do file recovery. You live boot the system. When you live boot, let's think that if the hard drive state is changed, it will damage the recovering data underlying the hard drive. In the forensic mode, it won't touch the hard drives and the necessary hardwares. You have to do all the mountings and everything manually under your supervision. That's a forensic mode. Vast wireless devices are supported. Multi-language. Also, there are signed packages and repositories. So which means that npm, you all know npm, not package manager. Like that, there is a package managers for Linux OSs, like Yum for the Fedora and apt for the Linux Debian-based operating system. Customizable desktop environment. Nice feature that Linux has. Previously, Linux does not have any GUI programs, only just the CLI, which is the terminal. So people build the desktop environment for the Linux. So desktop environment not powerful as the Windows GUI, because the Windows GUI highly coupled with its kernel, but in the Linux it does not have the functionality. It's like a layer on top of the separate layer. It's like a act on the API, so you can customize all the desktops as you want. Made your own desktop environments. There are few desktop environments available. There's a vast community support also. Nice. Then it supports live boot, live USB with Lux. Lux means it's an encryption mechanism to the hard drive, encrypt to the persistent mode. Usually, when we live boot a Linux operating system, when we reboot, all the changes we made are wiped out. But in persistent mode, when we can create a USB drive, even after we reboot the changes we made remain untouched. It's also full disk encryption. Let's assume you are a pen tester and you have very sensitive information on your laptops or whatever device you are using. You can have the full disk encryption to protect those information. And the nicest thing is this new code. Let's say you hack into some servers in the NASA and CIA after you, like that. So using nuke mode, you can purge your enabling nuke mode. Usually when you have a full disk encryption, when you booting up, it requests for the decryption key to decrypt the disk. And when you enable the nuke mode, you have another key for nuke key. When we decrypting, if you provide the nuke key, it will purge the hard drive and destroy the old file system and including data. Accessible features. In these things, you have visually impaired person can use this. It has a voice features. This is the desktop environment called the Plasma, and this is called the Genome. You can see the difference of the desktop, but the underlying all the functionalities are the same. How do you use it? We can have a live boot system. You can use a CD or a drive to live boot the OS and use. You can do the whatever you can. But the issue is that when you rebooting the system, all the changes you made are wiped out. It's not persistent. Or you can have a full clean installation into hard drive. If you are a pen tester, it will be important, but we are highly dependent on Windows, that we can't do that. You can have a dual boot systems, and you can boot the Windows and the Kali together. But when you dual boot, the starting process and booting process of the computer gets slow. It's a drawback. The best way is the persistent live boot. You can partition the pen drive and make the pen drive persistent, which means when you live boot, usually as the live boot, and whatever the changes make into the operating system or the installation software are remain intact. This is the boot menu. You can see that we have live boot option and the failsafe. Failsafe mode, it is more robust to the system crashes. So it doesn't mean that it never crashed, but there's a lower possibility of crashing. If you do some experimental work, you should use the failsafe mode. And forensic mode, as I discussed it before. Also live persistent and encrypted persistent mode, and some other options. This is the Ubuntu boot menu. You can see the difference. Okay, I will move to the demo. For the demo, I will that I show that graph from stages of 5. I will show how you gather information and how you analyze the some host and take some information. Okay, I have a URL. This is a website of a Faculty of Engineering, Computer Engineering Department website. This is URL. What can you see in this URL? So any information you can get? There's nothing, right? So this is the menu. This is like the Windows start menu. You can see that they have various type of tooling categorized into. I'm performing the information gathering. So in the information gathering also there is a subcategories. I'm using the tool called Multigo. This is the tool for forensics and the information gathering tool. This is the UI. First of all, this is taking the data from various sources called seed servers. They are the specialized servers for this tool. They retrieve the data from various sources. First of all, you can see that and create a new graph. Click it. Here. So it has the features called as entity pairs. You can see that it's a company, domain, email addresses. You can get the information about anything. This into that categories: IP addresses, some location-based hashes. There's various kind of thing. This is the community edition. That means this does not provide all the functionality. You have to buy the paid one for the if you want more functionalities. I'm going to analyze that website using this tool. I'm going to just put, okay. So this has a script called transformation. This transformation does is it gathers the information from various sources. So I'm running some. It has some default transformation with the inbuilt. I'm running it. So you can see that it gathers the data from that related to that domain website. We can see what are the technologies that it is built on, and its emails, subdomains. If we have some servers, that's also we can get the information about. Let's try with another. We have a subdomain connected to this domain. I'm going to analyze it also. See, you can see that it is running Ubuntu operating system, and it's also running Apache 2.4. That's a very important information. That if any attacker can make use those information, because the Apache 2.4 has its own vulnerabilities, right? So we know now that IP addresses we can get, and we now analyze we can perform an attack against that server. So this has also Tesla server. I can do the analysis of that.
Scroll to the left, scroll to the very left.
Left.
NVIDIA research, is it a website link?
Yeah, it is. We have a page or NVIDIA Research Center. So, Tesla. So here you can see a IP address, right? This is the IP address of this Tesla server, and so I know the IP address, and I first know the web address of the site, and I know now there's a server running in that IP address. I can simply use the nmap tool. This is a port analyzer. We can analyze that host. You can see that there is argument in the help page of this tool. There's a this is the IP address of that. I'm running the port analyzer. See, it discovered some open ports in the host. 88 is open, 84 open, 80 open, 22 is the SSH. There's a and it will scan the ports for further and give the information. It will take some time. Okay. Any questions? Anyone has any questions?
Currently doing is it has found 7 services
And
7 ports, and now it's scanning each of those services.
They are trying to identify what they are running on, what kind of services, the versions numbers.
So it might say on port 80 there's Apache server running.
If we know the version of the running, we know the IP address, we know the port numbers, and we know the version number. And version number, we see that versions has vulnerabilities. If they don't install update or patches to that, these are vulnerable. So simply you can use some vulnerability scanning to vulnerability by Metasploit. There's a tool for Metasploit framework. This is a database for the exploits. This has exploits codes, and we can search by the product and version number, and we can perform using this tool. We can perform the exploits in attacks, make the advantages of that security weaknesses. So it's done. Here you can see in port 22 service is SSH, which means that it has remote login. It somehow has a remote login functionality, and there's HTTP server running on the port 80 is Apache 2.4.7. So same as that, there's other running.
Is this tool doesn't select or is it only for
Nmap, I hope it works in Windows. This is the only two tools. This is the only two tools, no? Nmap is the one and the meta.monitor is the one tool. But if you go to this menu, is information gathering, there's a various number of tools to use.
You have to sort of know when to use which tool and how to combine several tools to get what you need, right?
So now I know that there's a SSH server running in the port 22 in the host. Now I can use the Metasploit framework. This is the exploits means that we found some security weaknesses, and the exploit was developed. It might be a script or some program to get the advantage of that exploit. It might be using getting access to the system or whatever. So this Metasploit is a database of the exploits that develop program for the that bugs. Understand what I'm saying? So let's say if some system has bugs, we can develop the exploit to make use of that bugs. Let's say some buffer overflowing happened, we can develop the program to make use of that buffer overflowing and get access to the systems. So we have to develop a program to that. The exploit means that program. The Metasploit is a database of that programs.
So we don't have to write.
We don't have to write the program. It has no all the programs, and we just need to have parameters, set parameters, and just exploit. It will run on the host. Simply we can search. If we need a SSH related exploit, SSH search. It will list the existing vulnerabilities that we can run on the host. So I'm using this. There's a vulnerability. We can get the version number of the SSH server. Now I tested it before. The server, running was SSH server is had some issues. I think port is open, but the server is not running. I tried to log into the servers also, but it's not working. The exploit is not working right now. But I will run it to demonstrate. This is a listed vulnerabilities, exploit available, and I selected it, and I just have to set the target host. Set. Host. I can use the IP address of this. I set the port to 22. And just run the exploit. So when I now exploit, it will run that code on top of that host. and gain the access or whatever advantage we're using. But now it is not working. The exploit is ran completely successfully, but the server is not running now. Some issues with the server. So that's the end of the demo. If you have any questions. To get the idea right, we can use tools to get information, and those information is the key part. If you know a system, we can make the use of it.
So you are trying to access the server using the exploiting the SSH, right?
Yeah.
Specific.
So this exploit is not accessing. This is just if they are hiding the version number, there's a way of hiding those version numbers. So we can use this exploit to get the actual version number. This exploit is for them.
Just to get the version number. Then you can find the issues with that version, and then you can try to access them and get access. Unless they have a patch or something or etc.
So there is a website called Nullbyte, and it has some other subdomain also, which is a nice website. You can learn about this Metasploit and this other security related things.
Tools.
Yeah, tools.
So does this have a high level tool? This one you have to guide it. You have to first Metasploit and all these other tools.
This has a GUI also.
Yeah. So you have to know. Let's first do this, and based on those findings, let me use this tool to find further information. And this is a step-by-step process, right? Is there an overall tool which can be used by people who doesn't know about what this tool does and about all these ports and everything, which we can run on a server and do all these things, or at least the most common things on the spot?
There are
like tool.
I didn't know about this process, but in the Wi-Fi toolbox, which has a Wi-Fi wireless attacks toolbox, so we can use some attacks for performing those Wi-Fi networks. Those are automated. There is a tool to do that, because there's called the evil twin attacks. Just you can scan the existing access point, and you can attack the actual access point and de-authenticate all the clients. And the client is disconnected, so they are disconnected, they are trying to connect now, so you can up that fake access point, and they are trying to connect that one. So that process is that you have to configure DNS servers and various steps in the manual mode. There is a tools to do all the steps. This is automated. Just you have to select the 1, 2, 3 option, just enter one, this is just second option. Likewise, those are automated tools. It will do all the works.
For website security scanning, you haven't encountered such a
no, I don't know.
Maybe there is, but you may not have encountered.
I spend much time on these wireless attacks. I'm not a pro.
Yeah.
It's much interesting.